Thanks for clicking. You're listening to Time In with yours truly, Tommy Crenshaw. With me, as always, is the never wrong Ricardo Lungus.
Tommy, you put a lot of weight on my shoulder saying I'm never wrong. I mean, I'm usually correct, but I wouldn't say I'm never wrong.
It's a bit of sarcasm there.
Oh, I understand, Tommy. I'm just saying you're putting the weight on my shoulders a little bit, though. People may want some overly correct statements from me. Sometimes I'm not overly correct. I'm just mostly correct.
Let me correct myself here. With me is always the sometimes right Ricardo Lungus.
That's better. I can deal with that. There's less pressure on me. To be right all the time. But it's good. Hey, and we also bringing back a good buddy, Anthony North. Anthony, how you doing today?
Oh, wonderful. I'm so happy to be here with the two smartest people I know on earth.
Okay, we're gonna have to redo that one too. Well, at least for one of us, maybe.
What's that? It'd be all right. We are. I would say we are above average.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't say smartest.
We're analytical minds, and that's something that not everybody is blessed with, and that's not to brag, but I think we have a good analytical take on the world of sports that the big ones don't offer.
I agree. So what are we gonna talk about today, fellas?
So there's been a lot of talk about what it always comes up is steroids. Whether steroids in the future they're going to be legal or stay illegal, should they be legal now? What's the push?
We all know that steroids are bad for you. We all know this. If you're a man, it starts giving you lady parts, and if you're a lady, it starts giving you man parts. It makes your internal organs grow at the wrong sizes. You don't need, affects your bone density, affects, all your cardiovascular innards. And we all know this. We all know it's bad. Everybody know this. We cannot, we all know. But there are some upsides sometimes. There's some benefits that, you can deal with. There's a bunch of people out there. A bunch of athletes that have used steroids and they have, been able to advance their careers. And, you can't, listen, people, don't do steroids. Don't do steroids. But some people have used steroids and it's kind of worked out a little bit for them, in a small window of time.
More than a little bit. I mean, come on. Here's the thing I think about it. I think steroids should be completely legal. Because I'm a sports fan, and it's turned me on to sports I didn't like, and it's also turned me back on to sports that had become a snooze fest. So bike racing to me was, that was the ultimate snooze fest. I want to see guys in spandex racing through the French Alps. I mean, come on now. How ridiculous of a sport can you come up with? It's a bicycle. That's a prehistoric invention, right? So I never was a fan, but when Lance Armstrong got into the scene, damn, I couldn't take my eyes off it. And now all these guys on the side of the road that I was hoping they would fall off their bikes and break their knees, because I'm just trying to get to work, and they got their spandex on, and now I'm looking at these guys cheering them on. Like, it really turned my mind on them. But then that fool came up behind him. I don't want to say his name, but we all know his name. But the thing that it did is also it made people like the Postal Service. The Postal Service was their sponsor. I thought the Postal Service was done, but no. But they came back just like Lance Armstrong did. But then all of a sudden they exposed them, and it turns out like most of the guys competing on all these other countries. It's the same thing like the Canadian track and field team did. All of a sudden, these guys are national heroes. It lifts up a country's pride. Canada has never really been known for anything outside of hockey and then that crazy stone sport where they glide them across the shuffleboard with rocks, basically.
I like that sport, Tommy. But go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't freaking know what it's called, but I know that when it's on TV, I stop and watch it for a minute. Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, it did that, and then of course it brought baseball back. I mean, it was right after the strike, man. You could go to see a Yankees game for like 50 cents. It was crazy. I mean, no way it was going, and that was worse than the NFL strike. We had these replacement players. We're using the real baseball players. Nobody wants to go see them, so they had to do something. Steroids brought it back.
Yeah, look at nowadays MVPs. They're talking batting 285. 30 homers, maybe 100 RBIs, and it's a phenomenal year. They get paid $40 million a year. But look at what baseball used to be. 75 homers, 200 walks. Looking at 170 RBIs, and you're not even the MVP because Barry Bonds, who never was proven to do steroids. He blew away all the statistics. Baseball blackballed him. He's not in the Hall of Fame. There's no proof. I think, as part of a balanced diet, steroids should just be something that everybody has access to. Bring back, excitement in the game. Let's get rid of trying to find guys who, can put a bunt down. Let's look at guys who can hit 500-foot homers.
Oh, I could not agree anymore, Anthony. I could not agree. Barry Bonds only allegedly took steroids. There's no proof. Like you said, there's no proof that he took steroids. And I believe he's natural. I believe he's natural. We had dinner about 9 years ago. Kind-hearted man, completely kind-hearted. Real down to earth. And he seemed natural to me. He seemed like he had never done anything. But there's a whole bunch of other people. Out. You only got the big names. You got the Bash Brothers. They definitely they juiced up a little bit. I'm just saying.
And they were great to watch.
Exactly. They were so great to watch that they got nicknamed Bash Brothers. And then you had Roger Clemens. You got to get in there. You got to throw that heat. You know what I'm saying? And steroids help. I'm not saying to do steroids, but I'm just saying it helps these guys become quite famous.
What your idea is that you're supposed to be entertaining the masses. That's what you're doing. So this whole idea, like, I get the competitive nature of like the kids playing the game. Kids shouldn't be doing steroids. I get giving the kids the growth hormones and stuff like that if they're undersized. But here's the thing. If they find out that steroids helps with CTE, it's going to have to be legal. Because what if it did? What if it helps? We talk about all the things it does to the body outside of the brain. And they say roid rage may not even be a real thing. So there's not a whole lot of study on long term on what this is going to do to the brain. So what if this helps combat CTE? Then you're going to have to make every NFL player take steroids.
I would think it'd be funny seeing guys juicing up in like the back of the skulls or some stuff like that. It would be a weird image to me. They're just juicing up straight to the brain to help fight CTE. It's kind of like a weird, scary Matrix thing. They got just a little port back there just to help fight the CTE. It kind of scares me in a way. It's kind of scary if you think about it. Yeah. I'm out on that one. I'm completely out on that one.
Like I said, part of a balanced diet, you got to teach kids how to hydrate. We need people to, don't put it all in steroids. You can't live strictly on steroids, That's what Barry proved, He's a guy who really is a model, of fitness. He's a well-rounded person, You never saw him go ballistic, like these roid ragers, you hear about. I mean, he was a mild-mannered guy. He walked more than he hit home runs. I mean, he gladly just took a base.
Humble. See, I told you.
He's a humble.
Good guy. He's a nice, humble guy. Now, I know for a fact, there are certain ways you gotta do steroids. One of my uncles, God rest his soul, Ulysses Titan Lungus, he was a champion bodybuilder. I'm talking about he had the guns, he had it all stacked everywhere. Bam, he was just popping up all over. And he would do his steroids, and then he would walk away, just to get pumped up in the off seasons. And and he did that for years. Unfortunately, it led to an enlarged heart, and kidney failure and a bunch of other stuff. But when he was in his prime, he was winning shows left and right. God rest his soul. But they can have benefits. Like lots of people get stuck on the steroids because they're trying to rehab. And steroids help with rehab. You gotta get the muscles going again. You gotta get your body back going, and that's how lots of people get stuck, just like painkillers.
Right. That's how it works. And I don't think there should be any punishment for people that want to put their bodies through it if they believe there's a negative side effects and stuff like that. But what I have an issue with is when you punish other people. Like there was this champion checkers player. Professional checkers, and a lot of people think it's silly. It's a real thing. So this girl was Russian. She was playing a Polish girl, and they had their little flags, country flags, on the side of the table. And what happened is the whole steroid scandal that rocked Russian athletes from a few years ago. They can't compete under the Russian flag right now. They can't. So they got to compete with like no flag, basically. Or some or like a flag with the world or the globe on it or something like that, And so they, in the middle of the checkers match, the judge realized, and they got a phone call, and they realized that she had the flag on the table and she couldn't. And now checkers, you don't consider that a sport, but it is connected to sports internationally. It's part of competing, and I don't think it's a sport, and I don't think it should be called one. But they made her take the flag down. And then the Polish girl did, to be nice, took hers down. But it disrupted the whole game. The Russian girl lost the match. And it's all because of some guys doping, part of this big lab thing that was going on with a lot of these other true athletes. And then this girl gets punished. So it's not fair, the scope of it. When you start making rules that ban stuff, you have to realize all the ripple effects, that you're hurting all these other people that had nothing to do with it. There's no evidence to say that this girl playing checkers was on steroids. Steroids has nothing to do with checkers. Now, some people might argue. I know there's some chess players that do steroids. I can't say the names, but yeah, there's some really good. There's some Grand Wizard champions that are doing it. But that's what they think. The girl from the Lions movie, the Gambits Lions, the Queen, the somethings, was the Netflix movie. That her character was based on a famous steroid user. So that's why they changed the name.
So So what you're saying is that all of these people should be tested for steroids. Like no matter what kind of competition they're in, they all need to be tested for steroids, right, Tommy?
No, I'm saying it should all be legal. I think it's my point is that most of checkers and chess players do not do steroids. So why are they going to get hurt? Except for a few of them. Why are they going to get hurt for, it's like you're punishing the whole class because one kid shows up who hadn't bathed in like 3 days because he's living in the car with his family and he gets punished and he shouldn't be punished anyway, but then the whole class gets punished because he's not bathing. Maybe y'all didn't grow up in the same school system I did, but...
you grew up, don't have access to the same things everyone else does. Steroids help give you a better life. There's a lot of upsides. Think about coming to America. From a foreign country. Like what's it like coming from India or Kenya?
Or Canada.
Or Canada. That's a country that's been notably impoverished.
It shouldn't be a country, in my opinion. Just hurry up and make it a state.
I think that's what I mean. The French might agree with you, but other than that, I don't know, Tommy, about that one.
No, continue, Anthony. I'm sorry to interject.
But that brings everyone on the equal playing field. Let's get rid of all this. Let's have some transparency. let's look at what's the way to really give us the best, entertainment we can have. I mean, we're on this planet a short time, and I'm just tired of seeing average looking. I mean, guys who look like they're bagging groceries, taking home MVP awards, Cy Young awards. I want to see guys who can do unreal things that that give us an idea of like what a hero is. Look at superheroes, even Clark Kent is not the guy people go to see. Superman is what we're looking for.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if you go crazy, you could say that, like, with the lifting weights, like, that's an unfair advantage. They might have thought back a long time ago. They used to think in baseball that steroids was going to affect your swing. That's what they said. I think that was all a bunch of hooey, just so guys could do it. But no, I mean, like, there was a time when, like, you couldn't eat certain things. Like, they wouldn't allow you to eat a steak before you went in a boxing match, because they felt like all that rush of protein was going to give you an unfair advantage. So, things change. We got to get with the times. I mean, this is just ridiculous.
Hey, like all I'm saying is what Tommy and Anthony are saying is that steroids should be part of a healthy, balanced workout routine. Healthy and balanced. You got to do your proper nutritions, everything, and then you just working a little bit of steroids there at the end of the day. Don't overdo it.
But no one is OD'd on steroids. I mean, that's a big myth.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying OD, and I'm saying you don't want to use too much. You want to make sure you get, you got to make sure you get your stretching in, and you got to make sure you get your cardio. You make sure you eat your proper meals through the day, and then you just working a little bit of steroids in there, just a little bit. Not crazy. You don't want to go overboard. I think everybody can use steroids, but you don't want to go crazy with it.
I mean, I want to see him go crazy with it. It's not my body. I want to see a quarterback that can throw it the length of 2 football fields. Because then that's the question. You get all these guys on steroids. Do you have to make the fields bigger? I mean, it's kind of like, think about this. And here's a good argument. Arena football. They went to their field is 50 yards? Something like that. It's like a short 50, 60 yards. It's shorter than and the Canadians went bigger, which was dumb. That's just the stupidest. Whoever came up with Canadian football just needs to be taken behind the shed and taught a lesson. But so could you consider that performance enhancing? Because now you got half a size of a field. Now you can get the ball down faster, and I know they try to make the goalpost skinnier and put a net. All nets, it's all nets. When I went to arena football, I thought I was going to see trapeze artists flying around. There's so many nets, but that's performance enhancing. You shrink the field. Like we talked about changing the rules of baseball before, and then our ideas. And if you made the field shorter, then you see more home runs. It's the same thing. And if you made the field shorter, there's more, stands for people to sit in. It's an economic decision that people are passing on.
Oh, you heard it here first, folks. Tommy Crenshaw is all about the extreme steroid league and big fields and more peoples.
That's how sports should be.
And that's the end of the game. Thanks for listening to Time In. TTFN.